All right. Welcome, everybody, to Madrid. The draw for the men's. The ladies' draw came out yesterday, and we've got the men's draw coming out today. And this is a very interesting draw because it's going to be the last tournament until Jannik Sinner comes back. So the last chance for a lot of players to get a win, because when Sinner comes back, we all expect him to start pick up where he left off, right? Dominating everything. So this is a big chance for a lot of players. And of course, Alcaraz coming in with a bit of an injury. Djokovic isn't in great form. There's players that are trying to find some clay court form after having good hard court seasons. Mensik and Draper, for example. Rune's coming off Barcelona. Zverev's coming off Munich, so they're trying to continue that. So, yeah, this is a big tournament. Let's get to who is actually seeded at this event, because now that the rankings kind of came out, I guess, a little bit today, these are the seeds. So, Zverev will be the number one seed coming into this event because he overtook Alcaraz over in the finals last night by winning Munich, and Alcaraz not winning Barcelona. That was a change. Fritz is number 3, and Djokovic comes in at number 4. You've got Draper, Demonor, Rublev, and Rune as the top 8 seeds. Some of the lower ranked seeds, obviously Berrettini has been a huge problem for everybody in recent times. You've got Lehechka, who made the semi-finals here last year. He is also a threat as a lower ranked seed. Someone like a Ruud, he could be a dangerous low seed, and Tsitsipas as well, which is interesting to see Steph down the bottom half of the seeds. Usually he's in the top 10, but number 17. Mensik's also there, of course. We're going to see how he looks. Hurkacz is back for the first time in what seems like forever. Fakina's dangerous. So, yeah, a lot of players. A lot of players that are could be a third-round opponent for some of the big guns and could be a problem for some of the big guns. Now, the players that are unseeded that are problems for... that's the wrong one. Hang on. That was Monte Carlo. And we were right with Berrettini. Here it is. Here is the updated list. All right, Madrid. So Baez, he's unseeded. He will be dangerous. Actually, I think he might have just snuck into the seeds. He is. He's number 32 seed, so scrap that. Baez is seeded. Low seed, but he is seeded, so scrap that. Monfils is unseeded. Struff's unseeded. He made the final here a few years ago. Marijan just played really well last week. And also, of course, Fonseca. You can add some more players into that if you want, but they're the ones that I've picked as the ones that nobody wants to see in their section of the draw, and nobody wants to play them in an early round here. All right. But here we go, Chad. How we doing? How we doing? The final Sinnerless draw. And then next week, in 2 weeks in Rome, we're going to be watching Sinner again. So that's fun. And we'll see whether or not Alcaraz rocks up, because he's getting scans today on that injury, and he is injured. Even though people sometimes think that when someone's injured, they're actually faking it. But no, he's really injured. He really hurt. He really had a bad leg, and he's going to go get treatment for that and hopefully play this week. And if he doesn't play this week, that's scary. Alcaraz should take rest. I agree. I don't think it's worth him trying to play Madrid if he's not 100%, because this isn't winning. Madrid's not the goal. Better off to try and play Rome, even though he hasn't done well there. But also, he hadn't done well in Monte Carlo, and he won that. So maybe better off to try and play, try and get fit and play Rome and then Roland Garros. Because if he gets the problem with the thing with Alcaraz is if he does play this week and it gets worse and he has to retire from his match or withdraw from the tournament midway through, he's then got to sum up whether or not he can play Rome. And if he can't play Rome, then he's going to have like 4 weeks off before the French, which is not great preparation. Even though last year he did the same and he won anyway. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if he's going to take one of these 2 tournaments off, you're better off taking off Madrid and coming back and playing Rome as the final warm-up. But let's see. Indirectly, you're saying that Djokovic's last chance to get a 100 title. I got you. No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. That's definitely not what I said. Don't be doing that. But we'll see. We'll see who can take advantage of this title. I mean, Zverev's won this before. Some of the other players that have won this before, of course, Alcaraz has obviously won this a couple of times over the years. Rublev, defending champion. Djokovic, of course, has won this. This hasn't been dominated by Rafa, as you'd expect. Murray won it a few times. Federer's got a title here before, three times. You've also had Bandy win this. It's a pretty new tournament though. It's only been around since 2002, so it's only 20 years or so old. But yeah, the GOATs have taken over, but it hasn't been Rafa's tournament like it has in Monte Carlo, where it was sort of Rafa and everybody else had to pick up the scraps. It's been a little bit varied, and Rublev being the defending champion from last year is pretty interesting. It's interesting to see how him go through it, especially because last year's tournament was kind of random. Sinner lost, Alcaraz lost. It was a weird tournament. Sinner withdrew from the quarterfinals. FAA had all those walkovers to the final. Djokovic didn't play, so that kind of helped as well. So yeah, last year's tournament was pretty random. Even though Rublev's not random. Let's talk about the points for a second, because we do have a lot of players that have a lot to defend. So these are the players that have most to defend in the other tournament that we're not watching. Hang on. I'm prepared. I was prepared. I wrote it somewhere. Hang on, here we go. There we go. All right, so Rublev, defending champion. He has the most points to defend. He's got 1,000 points to defend. And currently ranked number 8. So I'm not sure if his top 10 ranking is at stake, but you would guess that with 1,000 points on the line, if he doesn't win a few matches, he might drop out of the top 10. FAA, he's 19 in the world. He could drop out of the top 20 if he doesn't defend those points. Fritz, he's number 4 in the world. He's got 400 points, as does Lehechka at 27 in the world, having to save those points. And then the guys that have nothing to lose. Djokovic didn't play, 5th in the world. He should be top 4 by the French. If he doesn't, unless Fritz goes on another run here, and he hasn't played much Fritz lately, and Djokovic gets another upset, this is a great opportunity for Djokovic to overtake Fritz and take Fritz's spot at that number 4 seed for the French. Rune, hot off a win in Barcelona, and also, of course, winning, getting back in the top 10. Number 9 in the world, he's got nothing to defend. 3rd round last year. Demonor has had a really good clay court season so far. He's only got 10 points to defend and 7 in the world, and also Draper only has a 2nd round to defend. He is 6th in the world. So some players there that could start pushing towards that top 5 if they do have a good week this week. All right. Now, the draw should be coming out soon. They said it's 11 a.m., which is 10. It's 10 to 11 now, so we should see what's up. We should see what is going on. But how are we doing, chat? What's going on? Interested to see how Draper suits in Madrid. Yeah, I mean, he's been training with Sinner as well, which is good. Yeah, I mean, I think we all think that this is Draper's best chance on the clay, considering his. We can go through the last couple of weeks where he's not done as well, but also it's the fastest clay court event, right? So we would expect that it's going to suit guys like him. But also Fritz made the semis last year, and Fritz is not known for clay court tennis. So again, that might give give Draper a chance, because the faster clay does you do get a couple of players that you don't expect to be doing well on the clay in general, right? So it might be a good opportunity. Odds on Fonseca making the draw. He is already in the draw. Fonseca is in the draw. But yeah, we'll see what's up. We'll see what is up. Now they do the ceremony in Spanish, and I am not smart enough to know, so just bear with me, and we'll go through it as we see it. But yeah, and we've also got the women's final of Stuttgart coming up in a couple of hours. So straight after this, I'll send you over there, because Stuttgart final comes on tonight, and then tomorrow is the first round of Madrid for the ladies. So some of the ladies who might play tomorrow, and again, it's kind of depending on what happens. I think there'll be at least one match tomorrow that we'll watch. I don't expect to watch. We're not going to watch too many matches, because usually the first couple of days aren't that interesting anyway. But players that we could watch: Bencic, Bolter, Sakari, Andreescu, Raducanu, Osaka, Iala, Who else is in the Kvitova? All first round matches that could be over the next 24 hours. I just don't know if the top or the bottom half of the draw is playing. I would guess that the bottom half is playing. So that way Sabalenka gets more time to come back. But then again, Ostapenko's down the bottom, so maybe they want to give Penko... I don't know. I would maybe guess that the top half of the draw is going on day 2. And that Swiatek's half will be tomorrow and day 3. I'm guessing, but you never know. Maybe they'll just do it randomly and it'll just be a bunch of players playing all different times. And if it is the case of the bottom half's playing, that means tomorrow Osaka might play. Kvitova, Iala, Bencic, all on the card tomorrow, possibly. But it just depends. Depends on whether or not they give Sabalenka the extra time off to come to Madrid from Stuttgart after playing there. So it'd be a no-brainer if Ostapenko was up the top half. They'd be like, well, both players in the final over there, we'll give them an extra day. But with Penko down the bottom, then again, if Penko wins, does she get the extra time off? I don't know. Do they give her the bonus time? Either way, we'll find out hopefully in the next little bit. Yeah, Blaze, thanks for sending the messages, but please don't spam other people's chats. We don't do that here. Don't need to do that. It's fine. It's fine. People that are watching over there can watch over there. We don't need to try and don't do that. Don't do that. Because also, like, doing that, you might get banned from their chat, and I don't want you to get in trouble for that. So just please don't tell other people, go to other people's chats and tell them to come here. They'll find us if they want. Penko in 3 today, you reckon? Okay. I reckon the match is going to be under 2 hours. That's what I think. It's going to be under 2 hours. That's the more interesting part. Top players get a bye, so it does make a difference. It does not make a difference. Just play those 2 matches the next day. What do you mean? Oh, are you saying that like maybe Penko plays, but they might? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. I can get what you're saying. But I'm just trying to think whether or not they... Well, again, I don't know. Maybe they talk to players that are there. Maybe they ask Badosa whether she wants to play day 2, which I think is second round, or day 3, or whatever it is, day 3 and 4. Yeah, I'm not sure who they talk to and who they ask, who they will give more time to if needed. I'm excited for Madrid, but we're back to the dreaded 2-week format. Yeah. I feel like I like going back to just one tournament one tournament focus. But yeah, the 2 weeks is long. It's a long 2 weeks. But that's it. That's how it is now. Third time they're doing it. So look. They're gonna keep testing it out until unless it doesn't work somehow or the players don't like it. But we're gonna watch it anyway. There's no we're not gonna ditch it because we don't like the format. If players strike over 2-week Masters, I will 100% support them. Yeah, look, I think a lot of fans who don't get to go to the tournament. I think we're all of us who don't get to go. If you get to go to the tournament, it's 2 weeks. That's great because you have time. But for us who can't go, it does feel like things do take a long time to get. Like especially like because the matches and stuff take when we get a match. Iala versus Swiatek. If we find out that we're gonna wait 2 days for that match, and we're gonna wait for the quarterfinals and the semifinals, and everything just takes longer. It's different when there's best of 5 at slams because that kind of makes up for the time. We watch 2 big matches that are 5-setters. That's takes up the time, but yeah, it's a little bit especially when the tournament has upsets. That's when I find the 2-week Masters are a little bit more painful. When all the big names lose, and then we're waiting for the semis, which is going to be between players we wouldn't usually watch in the first couple of rounds anyway. I feel like that really hurts the tournament when the upsets happen. These tournaments, we saw that. We've seen it. Luckily in Indian Wells and Miami, Djokovic was through Indian Wells. Sorry, through Miami. The WTA was doing well through Miami. Indian Wells, we had a couple upsets early, but Alcaraz was there, so it kind of helped. But if we don't, last week's tournament, luckily for Swiatek and Sabalenka final, that kind of was the highlight. But the men's side of things, when people started to drop off, it's the second half of it felt like it was kind of I don't know if the interest was still there because no Djokovic, no Sinner, Alcaraz had lost. It was kind of a bit it was a bit of a different situation. But look, 2-week Masters, let's get used to it. And if they change it back to whenever, we'll do whatever. I don't like a 1-week tournament because the top 32 players get a bye. If they scrap that with will be perfect for 1 week, make it 128 draw and 9-day tournament. Yeah. Well, I think the one of the big issues that I think people have with it is the bye in the first round for 32 seeds, because then you don't get to see a top 30 player until the weekend, And I know that it gives a lot of lower ranked players a chance, but if they do scrap, if they make it 6 rounds, not 7, for unseeded players, no one gets a bye in the first round. You start on round 1. It's round 1, 2, 3. Get rid of the 4th round. Go to quarterfinals onwards. And then, make it you can make it the same if you want to keep it 2 weeks, but I think that's a bit more, that feels a little better. The first week feels redundant. Yeah. Luckily, there's a lot of good unseeded players this week, that I just mentioned. Fonseca, Monfils is unseeded. I think Wawrinka's playing. You've got Iala, you've got Raducanu, you've got Osaka. But if those players aren't unseeded, then there's really nothing to watch. And you go, well, yeah, the tournament doesn't start until the seeds start. And, whereas most other tournaments, at least the lower seeds are playing day 1, right? The number 6 seed plays or the number 10 seed plays. But we'll see. We will see. I never remember the semifinals of last year, and I remember everything about tennis. Yeah. But hey, look, again, it's really not up to us. If the players don't like it, then that's the only way anything would change in the future. But for us, the fans, we're just going to watch it. Hopefully, we get some good matches in the first couple of days this week, so then we don't have to wait until Alcaraz or Sinner rocks up, or Djokovic rocks up, right? We can watch good matches early. Djokovic is playing Madrid. Yep, he didn't play last year, but he's playing this year. Madrid is 2 weeks. It is. Look, we say 2 weeks because it starts today and it ends in 2 weeks, but technically it's like a 12-day event. But it starts on a Wednesday, but today the qualies start, and it feels like Madrid starts today. Actually, it starts tomorrow. Sorry, it starts tomorrow. So it's kind of like a 12-day, 13-day event, but it's actually more of it goes over 2 weeks. But draw should be coming out pretty soon. By the way, they said 7 o'clock. Sorry, not 7 o'clock. That's my time. 11 o'clock. 11 a.m. The top players have an advantage. It's 1 week and 96-player draw. That's why they want a 1 week tournament. Make it 64 draw. The lower players will complain. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does sound like. Haven't heard too many of the lower ranked players that are sort of out the top 50 talking about 1,000 events. If you think about it though, like this, right? Say you're number 70 in the world, right? Say you're Alex Iala, right? if you miss the cut for Madrid, which she probably... Okay, that's a bad example. Let's go to someone who's not going to get a wild card. Let's talk about somebody like... let's go on the men's side and pick someone... Let's say you're let's say you are... Who would miss the cut if it was 64? So it would be someone in the 70s. Let's say you're Roman Safulin, right? Let's say you're Safulin. Now, there are plenty of challenger events going on clay right now as well through Europe. So you could either, I guess the conversation is if you cut that off and he misses out, but he has to play qualies to continue. Would he be better playing qualies or going to play challengers where he might actually get a win or in a tournament rather than trying to play qualies and lose first round? Because, I mean, we're all talking like all the players that are below 64 in the world that get to play this tournament, you know, the 96 players that get to play. We're all saying that, the guys that are 80 in the world will get to the semis and make big points. They have an opportunity to make a lot of points, but they also could lose first round, which means they'll get no points or 10 points, right? So it's like, well, what's the benefit of being a low-ranked player and losing early compared to going to play a challenger event during the same time of a one-week Masters, right? I mean, look at Diallo, right? She's a good example of last week. She went and played, instead of playing Stuttgart, which she probably could have got a wild card, I would suggest that she might have been able to get one if the tournament had one for her. She probably could have asked and maybe got one. But instead, she went and played a challenger event. Now, she did lose early in that tournament, but who's to say that she would have done any better in Stuttgart and would have made any more points, right? Or Volley Nets, for example. Volley Nets, she made the final of that tournament last week on the challenger circuit. She wouldn't have probably made it through the first round in Stuttgart if she had played a Paolini or someone like in the top 10, right? So, again, some players, I don't know if I don't know. You have to ask the players that are sort of on the fringe of these tournaments that are like the low-ranked players that get in, whether or not it's worth it for them to play it. Because they might get big points, but then they also might lose in the first round and get 10 points, where they could have used that somewhere else. They could have gone somewhere else to do it. So I don't know. Again, you got to ask the players. The players are the only ones that matter in this situation anyway, right? Because we're not playing. We just have to watch the 2 weeks. We're not playing. All right, chat. Draw should be coming out soon. They said 11, and it's 11:03. This is the last Sinnerless tournament. And then we've got Yannick Sinner back. That went quick. That is why there is a challenger in the second week of the Masters for early losers. That's true. You do, yeah, you're right. They do have that. But on the WTA, you can't have those the top players can't play that event. I don't know. Is it better to have a 2-week Masters with a 1 week with like a second chance challenger, or is it better to have a 1 week Masters and a 250? I know they can't do that because they don't want to do that, or having like a second event, having a 250, or was it better last week when we had 2 500 events simultaneously? I'm not saying that they should downgrade Madrid, but I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I mean, I wouldn't mind it going from like having a 1 week 1000. I mean, Monte Carlo was just so nice to just be like, it's here, it's a week, we're watching it. Every day something happened. There was no days where it was kind of boring. Like every day was jam-packed in Monte Carlo, it felt. All the way to the final. From day one to the final, it just felt like something happened. Either an upset or a big win or a huge match. Like every day was intense. There was no days off. Like Monday, we had a bunch of seeds playing. There was that Tabilo Wawrinka match was epic. Monfils versus Marijan was good. Musetti played an epic. FAA went down, which was a bit of an upset. Day 2 was that the Djokovic lost day 2? No, Medvedev played Hashanov in that epic match. That was day 2. Day 3, Djokovic lost. Day 4, Popyrin beat Ruud by saving match points. We had Berrettini beating Zverev on day 2 as well, on the Djokovic day, I think as well. So that was jam-packed upsets. Or was it on the Tuesday? No, Tuesday. Zverev lost on the Tuesday, Djokovic lost on the Wednesday, and then Ruud lost on the Thursday. So it was like upset. And then we had a quarterfinal day where Feast and Alcaraz played that epic match. We had the double bagel from Demon. And then it was the semi-finals where we had that Musetti Demon match, and then, of course, the final. So it just felt like every day there was like something going on. It was just super epic. There was no like, oh, well, today everybody who was supposed to win won and all the qualifiers lost. Like, there was no boring days. And they might do that here in Monte Carlo. I'm sorry, Madrid. Maybe Madrid's going to have like 14 days of crazy tennis, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like that we do that. There's always like 2 or 3 days where nothing happens. It's very predictable, especially the first week. It's really predictable. Why Stuttgart 500 only give 100,000 to the champion, but Barcelona and Munich are 500s and give 500,000 to the champion? I don't know. Because the ATP and WTA are separate, so that's not a combined event. So that's the WTA giving prize money. The ATP give prize money for the other events, so it's two different things. But yeah, also, I mean, you might have to look into this, but I think up until maybe last year, I think maybe Canada, even though they were a joint event, WTA gave different prize money. I think they might have changed that though, but it is what it is. It happens, unfortunately. It's one of the reasons why the WTA wanted to merge. So then the prize money for all tournaments would be distributed certain ways. I don't know if like winning a car factors into that as well. Like if you win $100,000 and a car worth X amount of dollars, like is the car part of the prize money? I don't know. 14 days is stupidly long. If they're going to use up 2 weeks, they need to have all kinds of matches, exhibitions, mixed doubles, UTR. Last week's 500s were really fun. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Look, I'll tell you what Madrid have going for it is it has roof. So if it rains, doesn't matter for most players, for the top players. It won't matter because we can play in the center court. But yeah, we'll see. By the end of this tournament, we might be like, that was great. Every day was good. There was so many stories. Or we might get to the end of the tournament and go, oh, we're going to go to Rome now and do it again. Like we might be tired. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. They're still chatting away on the draw show. I know. That's what we're waiting for Feli Lopez to start picking names. Zverev won a car as well. Okay. There you go. I don't know what the reason is then. Any comments on Serena? Serena not happy that Sinner got 3 months? I think you read that wrong. I think she said that if she got banned, she would have been banned for 20 years. I don't think she said she was unhappy that Sinner got 3 months. She was more... didn't she say that Sinner, she was glad that Sinner was going to be, like, Sinner's so important to the game? Pretty sure. Like, don't misquote the Queen. I'm pretty sure Serena said that if it was her, she'd get banned longer, but Sinner's important for the game. Like, I don't think she was unhappy with Sinner. Let me have a look. Yeah, she complimented Sinner. She just said that if it was her, she said she would have probably got a worse ban. Yeah, she said, I've been put down so much, I don't want to bring anyone down. Men's tennis needs Sinner. If I did that positive test, I'd be gone for 20 years. Let's be honest. I would have gotten Grand Slams taken away too. She also said that the punishment of the 2-year ban for Sharapova was unfairly harsh for an administrative error. So her and Serena didn't get along until they retired. So yeah. So again, let's not twist words here. Yeah, she didn't say that she was anyway against Sinner. All right. Yeah, Serena was talking about the double standards. Yeah. Had it have been someone else, she would have said similar, I guess, if it wasn't, if somebody else got banned for 3 months, yeah. And she said, she didn't want to bring anyone down. Serena doesn't want to, Well, we're going to brace ourselves for next week when he comes back, because a lot of people he's going to come back, and a lot of people are going to be very unhappy that he's back already. Because it did go quick. Serena was talking about herself, though she should have stopped to think about how it'd be spun. Yeah, but I mean, the only people that are going to spin her words and turn it into an attack on Sinner, she specifically said, she was specifically talking up Sinner and talking how the men's tennis needs him, and all. She was promoting Sinner to kind of to offset what she was saying, so it didn't get. But then if somebody just reads one part of that, they're going to say, well, she's saying this is what she meant to say. Is a Fonseca Zverev Fonseca Alcaraz second round possible? Yes, that is possible. That is possible. Well, they can keep sooking. We can't wait to have him back. Yeah. Look, what's done is done, and he's coming back. I mean, he's done his time. The sentence was handed down. He's done his time. He's going to come back, and you just got to let it go if you're not a fan. And if you are a fan, get excited. He's coming back next week. 2 weeks. Sorry, 2 weeks from now. Now, chat, I'm just having a look at the draw here. So, the top 8 seeds in the third round will take on the bottom 8 seeds. So, some things to get excited for if you're, unless you're a fan of these top 8 players and then maybe get scared for. We could be getting a Lehechka versus Djokovic third round. That could happen, and that's a tough match. Berrettini versus Zverev rematch in the third round could be a thing, because Berrettini's down the bottom half of the bottom part of the top 8, and the top 8 versus the bottom 8, which means the bottom 8 seeds between 25 and 32. If you really want to get scared as a Djokovic fan, Popyrin is the number 25 seed. Or maybe, if you don't want to see any of those matches, Fokina and Hurkacz are also in there, but it's kind of, I'd say the bottom 8 players are kind of killers, and the top 8 players have got to be on notice. Anyways, in the middle, you've got maybe a Medvedev Tsitsipas matchup could happen in a third round, which would be kind of funny. We love that matchup. You might get a Mensik taking on Shelton, battle of the big serves. You might get Ruud taking on FAA, if you want to mix that up a little bit. But that's sort of what we're going to see early in the tournament, potentially. There will be top 8 players that get a bad draw, because there are bottom 8 players that are very dangerous. Like I said, Popyrin, Lehechka, Hurkacz, Fokina, Shapovalov, Berrettini, Nakashima, Baez. The only player in that list I would feel comfortable playing on clay would be Nakashima. I think everybody else in that section, everybody else in that part is going to be a killer. Unless the matchup, let's say someone's got a 5-0 head-to-head, and they love playing that player, right? If Alcaraz loves beating up Hurkacz, for example, right? He might want to play Hoopy. But there's killers. There are killers in that section, and clay court killers. So it's going to be... It's almost like who's going to avoid a bad third round matchup, because there's a lot of bad third round matchups on the cards potentially. It could be awkward. It could be an awkward third round encounters for the top 8. And then fourth round is, what is it? Top 12? Is it top 12 versus middle 12 or something? So we could be getting a fourth round with Djokovic versus, I guess, Tsitsipas maybe in a fourth round. But we'll wait and see for that. But the third round could really kick off. And not to mention, we mentioned all those unseeded players that are dangerous. I mean, somebody's going to get Fonseca in a second round. I don't know if it's top 8. It's any of the seeds are going to have to play. One of the 32 have to play Fonseca in the second round if he wins his first. But it could be, there could be a situation where a top 8 player has to play Fonseca in the second round and then go on and take on one of those bottom bottom half killers. So let's say, and I don't want to, let's just say Rublev, because Rublev is the defending champion. He won this tournament. Let's say he has to play Fonseca second round, and then third round, if he beats Fonseca, then has to go on and play, Berrettini. I mean, that's a nightmare. That could happen. A top 8 player could have a draw like that. 13 to 16 take on the top 4. Okay, so it's going to be, so that means fourth round would be, so Ruud is in that. So Ruud versus a top 4 player in the fourth round. Feast versus a top 4 guy. Feast versus Alcaraz again? I mean, we could get that for a third time in a row. That could happen. Interesting. Thank you for that. Thanks for confirming. I usually have it written down, but I've lost my sheet of paper. And then, 9 to 12 take on 5 to 8. So that means we could be getting a Musetti versus Demonor rematch. We could get a Rune Medvedev match. Rublev, Medvedev, Draper. I think Draper would want to take on Shelton or Paul. But then again, Shelton on clay, maybe not. Maybe you do want to play Medvedev or Paul. I mean, Draper Musetti could be a fourth round. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of nuts. All right, they're still chatting to Feli Lopez. He's given all his insights to the tournament. And then we'll finally get this underway. Top seed is Zverev. Sasha Zverev is the number 1 seed. Let's go through the seeds and the withdrawals as well, because we haven't gone through the withdrawals yet. There's only a couple of players that are pulled out. That's not it. None of them. They are all in the draw. Where is it? I literally just did it. Where is it? There it is. All right, so there's the players that are pulled out so far. Of course, Sinner's not going to be playing. He was on the entry list, but he's pulled out. Tabilo is not playing, which is a bit of a shame. You would have thought he would have been a scary player, and a couple of Chinese players there as well. I don't think anyone else has pulled out yet. Of course, Alcaraz is on the injury wait list. So those are the players that have pulled out. And here are the seeds. So that's the top 30 seeds. Zverev number 1 seed after becoming number 1 this week. Number 2 this week. He gets number 1 seed. Alcaraz number 2. Fritz 3 and Djokovic 4. So those are the top 4 seeds. Top 8 seeds go down to Rune. We've got Rublev, defending champion there. Demon and Draper all in there as well. And then some of the lower ranked players that I was mentioning before. Poprin, Hurkacz, Fokina, Berrettini. A lot of dangerous players in the for a possible third round meeting between the top 8. All right, chat. A guy who has a clipboard is coming onto the stage, which means we might officially have the draw happening, which is good to see. This guy looks like an official, so I guess that means we're starting. We're starting, chat. Here we go. Now remember, Fonseca, Monfils, Tien, I guess you can put him in there as well. On clay, still to be proven, but still, put him on the list. Who else did I say? I think Wawrinka is floating around somewhere too, so yeah. Benny.
Carlo's injury serious.
Oh.
Should Carlos avoid Madrid?
Thank you, Zero. And thank you, Benny. Benny, Demon didn't make the final. He's got to get a good draw. Draw will be important. Carlos, he's getting an MRI today, apparently, and then we'll see what happens. So it'll depend on the scans, but I think if he's got any sort of injury, there's no point. No point in risking it when you can just play Rome and get some more form there if you want. I know people say he's not as good in Rome, but it's like what you play, he get injured more, and then don't play Rome anyway. Like I don't know if it's worth the risk, All right, here we go. They're going to start doing things with the draw. I don't know Spanish, but I'm pretty sure he's saying that they've already done the unseeded players in the computer generation, and then they'll do the seeds. I love how they do the draw this way. I know that they do it other ways where they do the seeds and then they kind of like populate the unseeded, but I like it when they do the unseeded players, then we kind of find out where people go. I like the countdown. Here we go. They've got all the tokens with all the names. They pull out the top players first, and we'll see what happens. But let's see where Opelka. Yeah, Opelka's also in this draw, right? Opelka's also a low unseeded player. Here we go. Who is going to get a bad draw? They're just explaining the draw to everybody who's standing around. Yeah, they got the one of the ATP officials or one of the tournament directors in the tournament who's speaking English now, so I can understand it. So it's good for me. Yeah, so Djokovic can't play Fonseca in the first round, but he could play Fonseca in the second round. All right, let's see who we can find out who Zverev and Alcaraz have because they're at the top and the bottom. Ooh, okay. Anything interesting? Not really. The bottom part of the draw, nothing really going on. Bergs, Nishioka, winner plays Alcaraz. So that's a pretty good start for Alcaraz. Alcaraz has a pretty good start. We just don't know who's seeded yet. Alcaraz's draw is not too bad. Unseeded players are not that scary. The scary killers aren't there. So Carlos's draw is, at least early, is not bad unless he gets that one of those killers I was talking about. But no, there's no unseeded dangerous players early for Alcaraz at this stage. They're only showing the bottom part where Alcaraz is. So let's show the top. They're going to scroll. What's going on? They got some glitches. Kecmanovic Sonego is interesting. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, the bottom part of the draw where Alcaraz is going to be without the seeds looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Doesn't look too shabby. I'm happy to translate from Spanish to English. It's okay for now. I can read the names, so I don't need to hear what they say anymore. I think they might have had a glitch. They're trying to figure out how to scroll back up to the top. They did explain things in English? Yeah, they did. All right, we're going up to the top. Here we go. Zverev up the top. Where the hell's Fonseca? I can't see him. Oh, Batista Agut versus Munar. Winner plays Zverev. So Zverev's draw's not bad. Bottom part of the draw, Alcaraz. Oh, wait, Alcaraz number 3? Oh, number 3 ranking. Confusing me here. All right. So, who is Djokovic going to get? Sinner, is he going to get Alcaraz or Zverev in the semis? And where's Fritz going to go? Of course, everybody wants to avoid Alcaraz. Even if he is a little sore, you still don't want to be in Alcaraz's draw because you just never know how he's going to pull up in a couple of days and he could be back to fresh. But let's see. Where is Djokovic? Top or bottom? Where? Where is he? Fritz is down the bottom with Alcaraz. No, he's up the top. They fooled me. They tricked me. I saw Fonseca's name too. They tricked me. So Djokovic, Alcaraz in the semis. Djokovic, Alcaraz semis. But like I said, Djokovic has got to get there, and also Alcaraz has got a bit of an injury. Oh, Fonseca is in the Djokovic area, but he's playing a quali in the first round. Winner plays a seed, but we don't know what seed. But Djokovic and Fonseca in the same area. It's going to be a 4th round if they do play. Fonseca's going to have to get to the 4th round if he's going to play Djokovic. So Djokovic is going to play either Rinaldi or Bellucci in the second round, which Rinaldi has his moments. That could be awkward. But Djokovic's draw not too bad. He's got a qualifier or Rinaldi. So Djokovic's not a bad start, but like I said, potentially Fonseca 4th round. So there's a lot of players in between. You know, Fonseca's got to win 3 matches before he gets to that. All right, now we're going through the next players, which are Draper, de Minaur, Rublev, and Rune. Zverev will take on Rublev in the quarters. Ooh, okay. God, Rublev defending champ. He's got to play Monfils in the second round, Rublev. Oh, no. Rublev, Monfils, second round. Ouch. Monfils, Rublev, second round. That's fire for us, but it sucks for him. He is the defending champ, and that draw stinks. Oh, Rune's in there as well with Fritz. Rune's draw, Marijan Kaboli, winner plays Rune. Ooh. That seems tough. Fritz's draw's not too bad, by the way. Fritz versus Rune. Oh, Draper, Djokovic in the quarterfinals. All right. So that means de Minaur versus Alcaraz quarterfinal again. Why does de Minaur just not get... why can't de Minaur play Fritz in the quarters? Why does he have to play freaking Alcaraz? De Minaur, Sonego, or... de Minaur will take on either Sonego or Kecmanovic in the second round. God damn it. Why are they making this on Demon? Demon's been a beast on clay and you're giving him... Why are you making him work hard? Maybe at the French Open they'll get him a good draw. Maybe he'll get a good draw. All right. Number 12. Oh, Ben Shelton's going up the top with Rublev. Shelton, Pirikar, second round potentially. I'll tell you what, that top half of the draw is interesting. Oh, Medvedev, Rune. Medvedev, Rune in a fourth round. Fourth round. Did I not say that earlier? Medi's draw is okay. Jera versus Medvedev second round could be interesting. Paul versus Draper. Oh, Paul Fonseca second round. Tommy Paul Fonseca. Fonseca, that's good for him. By the way, Fonseca, Draper and Paul in the same area. That's good for Fonseca. And Musetti Demonor, far out. Fourth round. Musetti Demonor. Winner plays Alcaraz. All right, cool. Thanks for the... Why is the second seed getting the worst draw by the seeds? I mean, what are we talking about? What does Swiatek do? Yeah, Paul Fonseca second round. We love that. And then the winner could go play Draper, and then the winner of that could play Djokovic. So Fonseca's got to... Like, the Fonseca-Djokovic matchup in the quarters, I think it's quarterfinals, could be a thing. Unless we start getting, like, you know, Feast and all these other guys. But that's not bad. I think, like, maybe we can dream a little bit on the Fonseca-Djokovic matchup. A little bit. At the moment, until the other names get pulled out of the hat, and then we can figure it out. Tiafoe is up with Zverev. Oh, that is cushy. We love Foe, but he's not the clay guy. Oh, wait, no, it's Feast. I lied. Why did they change they said 16. Oh, my God, I lied. Zverev's draw stinks. Feast in the fourth round. Oh, Ruud versus Fritz in the fourth round as well. God, I thought they said Foe. They said 16, but it was Lion 16. Tiafoe's going with Djokovic. Oh, Nole. Nole's draw is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It is pretty nice, and he's going to get Popperin in the third round, maybe. Dimitrov versus Alcaraz. That's not bad for Carlos on a clay court. I mean, again, if Carlos is healthy to play. But, man, that's... all right. Djokovic's draw is nice at the moment. There are still some players that could be killers. I mean, he still potentially could be playing, you know, Lehechka, Popperin, Berrettini in a third round. So he's not out of it yet. But so far, if you're a Djokovic fan, you've got to be pretty happy with the draw. Cerundolo up the top. Is he with where's he at? Oh, Arthur Feast versus Cerundolo third round. Okay. And then Mensik up the top as well with Zverev. Mensik Shelton, winner plays Rublev. All right. Korda's up there as well. He's in the same part as Fritz. A Korda versus Ruud. Winner plays Fritz. Okay. FAA, he's in the same section as Medvedev in the third round. We're not watching that. Winner plays Rune. Hashanov is somewhere in the middle. Hashanov's taken on Paul. Fonseca's draw is nice. Fonseca Djokovic could be a thing. It could happen. Humbert versus Tiafoe. Winner plays Djokovic. Humbert on clay is not a thing. Oh, Tsitsipas. Where's he at? Oh, I don't know what would be with Demon. Tsitsipas Musetti, third round. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, Mahach Dimitrov. Winner plays Alcaraz. Okay, we forgot about Mahach. Now we've got those players that I talked about before. Who's going to get... You want Nakashima. You want number 31. No disrespect to Nakashima, but out of all the players in that part, you don't want to play most of them. Nakashima's probably the best case scenario. Maybe Hurkacz because he's coming back from injury, but you don't want to play Lehechka. You don't want to play Fokina. You don't want to play Berrettini. You don't want to play Baez on clay. Popperin's dangerous. Shapo can do his thing. Fokina versus Zverev third round. This is where things start getting messy, chat. Zverev draw kind of sucks. Rublev gets Popperin in the third round. These third rounds are crazy. We got some crazy third rounds. Hurkacz will take on Fritz in a third round. Hurkacz, Fritz, third round. Cilic, second round was for Hurkacz. Interesting. Nakashima is going in there with Rune. Rune's draw is kind of nice. Berrettini and Draper, third round. Oh, Djokovic gets Baez. That's not terrible. I know Baez is good on clay, but that's not bad for Nole. Nole might have won the draw. Nole could have won the draw. Shapo plays Demon. Ugh. And Alcaraz is going to take on Lehechka, third round. Ooh, Alcaraz's draw was good until then. that ruined it. That did. Look, Baez on clay is good, but I feel like it could have been worse for Nole. Berrettini would have been worse. Lehechka might have been worse for Djokovic. At least with Baez, Djokovic is not going to be overpowered. Nole is going to be able to, play his way into that. And then the winner of that will take on either Humbert or Tiafoe, and then Draper, Paul, or Fonseca, or Berrettini, or Khachanov. So we can I reckon we could maybe dream a little bit of maybe a Fonseca versus Djokovic quarterfinal. I think we can. It's a realistic possibility. It's a realistic possibility. Berrettini and Khachanov and Draper might have other things to say, maybe Tommy Paul, but I don't know. I feel like we can start. Maybe it wouldn't be so wild to say Djokovic Fonseca could meet in the quarters. They could meet in the quarters, especially the way Fonseca has been playing on hard courts. I mean, clay's is where he lives, right? So I mean, yeah. But yeah, I don't know who got the worst draw. It feels like Zverev might have got a kind of a crappy draw. Maybe it was Zverev. Maybe it was. I mean, Alcaraz's draw towards the end with the Lehechka third round. That's a rough one. Don't worry, we're going to go through it properly, so don't you stress. We're going to go through it all together. But also remember, we don't even know if Alcaraz is going to make the draw because of injury. So we don't even know if Alcaraz is going to even get there after yesterday. So we got to wait and see. If Alcaraz does pull out, that it wouldn't really help anything because there's still a lot of crazy players in that section. Nole always wins the draw. Yeah, we'll go through it in more detail, but it feels like Djokovic's draw is a little better than the other guys in the top four. And you look, yeah, because his name is Novak, that also helps, but he's obviously going to be better than a lot of players, but I don't know. I feel like Djokovic is shouldn't have any problems. But then again, I said that the last time, and he did have problems. Remember, we lost to Van der Zandschulp in Indian Wells and stuff, and who would have known? Analdi could be awkward in the second round, but I think Djokovic should do all right. Yeah, we'll go through the draw in detail, don't worry. Just waiting for it to be visible so we can watch it. Nole won the draw in Monte Carlo. So yeah, I mean, Djokovic's draw wasn't bad in Monte Carlo, but yeah, obviously it depends on who he plays in that tour, who he does play and who's inspired. These days, the draw might not matter for Djokovic. He could potentially lose to anyone. Well, yeah, I mean, that is obviously anyone could lose to anybody, right? But I think on paper, you would say Djokovic's draw is if you move Djokovic around and you put him in if you put him in the Alcaraz part or you put him in the Zverev part, you would say that is worse. That's what I mean by Djokovic has got a good draw. Is it's better than Alcaraz's draw and it's better than Zverev's draw, right? If you move the seeds around and they get those same players, it's a lot more awkward for Djokovic, I think. So it's not. It could be worse, is what I'm trying to say. It could be worse. It could be worse. If Alcaraz pulls out soon, does Djokovic move to the Fritz spot? I don't know. I'm not sure how it works. I'm not sure if it's if he pulls out after the draw is made. Do they restructure the whole draw, or do they just move? Do they just move around a couple of names? Does Fritz go down to Alcaraz? Do they? What was the rule? We did this in Australia a couple of years ago. Don't they move around the top five? It depends on. I think it's if the first round has already started. No, it won't be a lucky loser. That'll only happen if Alcaraz pulls out like the day of his match. They'll just put a lucky loser. I don't think they do. I think they do give they might, because we did this with we had this happen, didn't we? I thought we had this happen in didn't last week Tiafoe got promoted to number 9 seed in a tournament? I can't remember. There was a rule, but maybe it's a Grand Slam rule. I don't know. Number 33 seed will take his spot. Yeah, so the highest ranked unseeded player will move. And then a lucky loser will replace them, I think. I don't know. But we just have to wait and see. It depends on, I think it does depend on when Alcaraz, if he was to withdraw, when he was going to withdraw. Like let's say he pulls out, the day of his match, then they probably get a lucky loser. But if he pulls out like tomorrow, then they might restructure a couple of things. They might move a couple of players or just promote someone. Tiafoe will replace Musetti and not a lucky loser. Yeah, so is that how it sort of... Yeah, it's like the number 9 or so. I don't know. Something happens. Oh, no, you're talking about last week. Tiafoe replaced Musetti, not a lucky loser in Barcelona. Exactly. So I'm not sure. There's a rule for it, but we'll wait and see. We don't need to make it up. We'll wait and see if it happens, and if it happens, we'll talk about it. Alcaraz will play first round as a rehab session. Well, he gets a bye in the first round, so he doesn't play until Friday, or Thursday. No. Musetti's playing this time. We were talking about last week when Musetti pulled out of Barcelona and they had to restructure things. They just added. They promoted Tiafoe to a seed. So we're not. Anyways, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. They only do that because the tournament hadn't started. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's a rule. If the tournament starts, then if the tournament has already started, then it's a different format. But if Alcaraz pulls out before the tournament begins, then they will restructure the seeds. But if the first round's already done, then they can't promote an unseeded player because they might have lost, right? So I think it's if the tournament starts and Alcaraz withdraws the day of his match, before his match, he'll get replaced by a lucky loser. And if it's before the tournament starts, they will restructure the seeds, I think. I think that's maybe what it is. I don't know. But we'll find out because the tournament starts in 2 days. The men's tournament starts in 2 days. So he's got 48 hours to figure it out. Yeah, if the tournament's already begun, a lucky loser will replace Alcaraz if he pulls out. But I think if it's before the start of the play... But look, I would be surprised if Alcaraz pulled out before the tournament started because he's probably going to try and give all the time he needs to get ready for it. And he's probably, if anything, going to pull out on the day of if he was. And that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, again, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. He's going through the process of who gets a day or night match. Oh, wait, what? Are they? All right, that's big news. DJ, let us know you give us the information because I can't understand. So wait, Djokovic and Alcaraz, what day are they playing? Are they playing on Saturday? Are they saying Saturday? Is his injury that bad that he could withdraw? It depends. He has to get scans. So it's bad enough that he's considering what he needs to do over the next couple of days. So it's bad enough, Alcaraz behind Zverev and should be out of the top 5. He is not that good a player. Okay. Yeah, if the scans show that he's like he and the doctor's like you have to rest, then he might pull out. But yeah, again, we'll wait and see. Hopefully Alcaraz plays though, because we got some really good matches in the third round. They're some really good matchups. He didn't say players' names, but rather something about how the tournament directors decide. Oh, okay. So they haven't decided who's going to play when. But we'll find out, I guess, when we find out. All right. I'm just waiting for the Wikipedia Angels to do stuff. And then we'll go through the draw properly. What's his injury? He's got an injured. I always get this wrong. Psoas, which is like the muscle that connects over your hip and into your back. I think it's like the part of one of the muscles that sort of wrap around your hip and go into your back. So, yeah, that's the injury. I guess the layman's terms would be called like a groin injury or a high level, like high up hip, sort of hip area. At least that's what, when he said psoas and I looked it up on the internet, it showed me a diagram of what that part of the body was. It's high, it's like a hip area, you know. Groin, hip, yeah. Actually, decisions of the order of play yet. Yep, no actually decision of the order of play. Yeah, that's all right. We'll find out that probably tomorrow. Could Djokovic and Alcaraz clash? Yeah, semi-final. They could meet in the semis. We make prediction videos. Not for the Madrid. I'll make a draw. We're going to make a preview video, obviously. Do players get fined if they drop out? Yes. If you drop out of a tournament after the draw comes out, I think you get a fine. I think. But I'm sure Alcaraz isn't bothered by that. If he has to pull out, he will. Yeah. What does Mensic's draw look like? Mensic's draw is... Where is he? I saw him in the middle somewhere. Mensik will take on Shelton in the third round, then Rublev in the fourth round. So Mensic's draw is okay. So you would say that Mensik and Shelton should meet unless Pirikar has something to do about it. But yeah, Mensic's draw is not bad. He's in the Zverev quarter. They're discussing that Mensik and Lehetra are dangerous players at the draw. Yep. Thank you, DJ. They definitely are. How different is this clay court compared to the hard court season? Clay courts are way different. Way different. Different players can move better on clay and play better on clay and have confidence, and you'll get different players popping up and winning these tournaments, you know? Usually. And then players that did well on hard court, sometimes you don't see them on the clay because they don't do as well. I think Mensic's draw is terrible. I mean, Mensic's got the opportunity to go far. It's like if he had to play, you know, I don't know, Alcaraz or Rune in the third round, you'd say that was terrible. His draw is okay. I don't think it could be worse. I think there's a lot of low-ranked players have opportunities because the top-ranked players, I mean, Zverev just won Munich, so he's feeling okay. Alcaraz is injured. Djokovic, we don't know exactly. Fritz is not played. Draper, still getting used to the clay. De Minaur's been good, but he's with Alcaraz, so that sucks. Rublev's defending champion, but he hasn't been great. And whoever the number 8 seed is that I can't even see. Rune, yeah, Rune's been good. So I feel like the top 8 seeds, at least half of them are not, you can't do have any confidence in at the moment, you know. And then the bottom, like the lower ranked seeds and even the unseeded players, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for unseeded players to have runs. We saw that this time last year, right? Nobody, you know, the final was kind of random, and we do get random finalists here. Like we don't usually get, you know, it's not usually a 1-2 final on the men's side. It's, you know, we had Struff make the final. I think Carrots had made a semi a couple years ago, which was a little bit strange. Triple Z. Last year with FAA, you know, Lehechka popped up. We didn't know much about him at the time. Yeah, so it does throw up. Madrid on the men's side does throw up a bit random stuff. On the women's side, obviously we've seen a bit more, you know, Barty and Sabalenka and Swiatek all winning it, but men's side is a little bit different. 2022 was the only time it was not random, exactly, with Alcaraz beating the GOATs. But 23-24, that was a little bit different. little different to what we expected. Looks like Fonseca play qualify in the first round. Yes, he does. He sure does. Do you think Draper is a threat on clay too? He's unproven, but he could be. I think this tournament could be good for him. What about Djokovic's draw? Djokovic's draw is nice. I don't think he's. I think Djokovic has got a nice draw. I think he should make it to the quarterfinals, and then things get a bit sketchy. But I think Djokovic should make the quarters. He should beat Baez. Analdi's second round could be awkward because Analdi can get inspired, but he should be able to beat him. Tiafoe and Humbert on the clay, Djokovic probably wins that, and then he gets to the quarter. So I think Djokovic should make the quarterfinals. Unless something bad happens or something unexpected happens or somebody unexpected happens, Djokovic on paper should make the quarters and play against Berrettini or Fonseca or Draper or Hashanov. And then things start to get really interesting. But I think Djokovic should get through. I mean, he lost to what? To Billo in Monte Carlo, which is, in hindsight, maybe not a surprise because he lost it to Billo before. And then he lost in Indian Wells in a surprise to Van der Zandschulp, which, again, maybe not a surprise because Van der Zandschulp had beaten Alcaraz and Nadal, right, earlier. So I don't see anyone in Djokovic's way until the quarterfinals that's like, oh no, that guy beat Djokovic on clay. Like, it hasn't happened. Like, I don't think Analdi's played Djokovic before. I don't think Baez is going to outlast Djokovic. I mean, good luck. And Tiafoe and Humbert are not really clay guys. Humbert could be inspired. We know Humbert can be dangerous when he's on, but I mean, Goffin, the Deary, I don't see anyone. Like, I don't think Djokovic should make the quarters. Whereas you look at Alcaraz and you go, okay, well, Lehechka third round could be awkward. He lost to Lehechka already this year, right? He lost, Mahatch is there as well. That's awkward in the fourth round. Then you've got, Musetti or Demonor, Shapovalov, Tsitsipas potentially in a quarterfinal. I mean, that's not easy. Zverev has Fokina in a third round. That sucks. Fils in a fourth round still sucks. Rundalo in a fourth round could be Zverev's problem, right? And then Fritz versus Hurkacz third round. Winner plays Ruud. That sucks. So again, I think Djokovic out of the top four has the better draw on paper. I don't think Djokovic will, unless the qualifier that Analdi plays is some silent killer, such as, I don't know, Altmaier, right? He's been good. Fernley, right? Coric. I mean, Coric in a second round could be awkward, maybe. I don't know. Coric could be someone. Fernini, he's around. The qualies, he could be a Djokovic second round killer, maybe. I don't know. Again, he's got to be inspired. Lajovic, there are people that Djokovic could lose to in the qualies, but Severetti's in the qualies, but on clay, I don't know if that's a thing. It's not like he's got Luca Nardi's a quali, but on paper, Djokovic should make it to the quarters. He should, and he might be tested by some of those guys, but I don't think he loses to those guys unless they play crazy. Yeah, Rinky Ichikada's in there too. But we'll go through the draw properly. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it on the screen. Now we've got about an hour until the final of Stuttgart, so that's fun. Yeah, Wikipedia is not updating, so that's unfortunate for us. Djokovic doesn't have motivation yet. Well, he might now. I mean, Djokovic, if Alcaraz withdraws, Djokovic has a good chance of making the final in Madrid. I know that Fonseca and Berrettini and the guys I mentioned are tough in the quarters, but they have to get there, right? Fonseca has to get to the quarters, and Berrettini has to get to the quarters if they're going to play. And Draper, DeBillo's not playing. He withdrew. Fils would be a good pick to do well against Zverev. Yeah, I agree. Musetti can reach the final. He's in Alcaraz's draw. True. But Musetti's coming off an injury in Monte Carlo, so we're not sure. I'm not sure how healthy he would. Like, has he recovered from what he got injured? Injured a couple of weeks ago. Popper and Thompson could cause some upsets. Yeah. I mean, Poppy for sure on clay. I don't know about Tomo, but Poppy could. Yeah, Poppy could take out Rublev in a third round. Yeah. I mean, Popper making the quarters isn't out of reach. Yella is playing. Could play Swiatek in the second round. I feel like there's way more. I think the second round of the men's is not as crazy as the women's. There's a lot more crazy unseeded players in the women's draw. Like Fonseca, Paul's good. Monfils, Rublev's good in the second round. But there's nothing. I mean, Hurkacz, Cilic, maybe. But it doesn't seem like too many crazy second round matches for the top players on paper. Unless I'm missing something. Not for the top. I mean, Rune versus Marijan, interesting. But I don't think there's anything massively insane. Like, there's no Berrettini Zverev second round or anything like that. Whereas on the women's side, it's a lot. It's a lot sketchier over there. There's a lot more early round potential upsets. All right. I'm just waiting for a draw that I can show on screen. I can't find anything. I can't do anything. If Djokovic only plays slams, he gets rusty and loses even to lucky losers. Okay. Locked in my team on the way to Easter supper. Nice. I remember when Manarino got almost triple bageled. Yeah, that was crazy. If Rune wins Madrid, I'd be so ecstatic. Would make him contender for sure. For sure. It would be something special. Predictions for Medvedev. I can't see Medi in the draw. Where is he? I can't see Medi. There's too many names. Medvedev. I mean, Medi should make it to the third round, maybe, but not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. All right. Do they have the paper version or the PDF version yet that I can reference? Fonseca is in the draw. He's in the Draper section. Should Diminor make the quarters? No, because he's got. I mean, he if he does, it'd be very impressive. There's a lot of tough names in the way. Tough players in the way. He's got to play Tsitsipas or Chapo or Musetti. I mean, there's a lot of tough names for Demon before Alcaraz. He comes to Alcaraz. Who does Coleman Wong play? We'll go through the draw and I'll tell you, because I can't see his name because I can't see. I'm looking. I'm trying to find his name. He's somewhere. All right, let's get this started. All right, so the draw has just come out for Madrid for the men, and it's looking pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting for the top seeds as well. Some tough draws early and tough matches early for those players. Well, let's go see who's not playing, because there are some big names that are pulled out of this tournament. All right, so we've only got the 4 players so far that are out of the tournament. Zong, he's out. Sinner is also pulled out. Tabilo, he's also not playing in this one. And also Triple Z will not be playing in this one. And he actually did well here not that long ago. So some names there that have done well on the clay in the past and will not be here. But there are still some big names. So let's take a look at the top of the draw. All right. is it? I saw it. It was here. Here it is. All right. Cool. All right, let's see if that works. All right, top of the draw. We've got 32 seeds in this one, and the top 32 get a bye in the first round. So everybody who's seeded gets a bye. Zverev, number 1 seed, after winning Munich last week and overtaking Alcaraz in the rankings, gets a bye in the first round. He'll take on either Batista Agut or Munar in the second round. Then you got Borges taking on Carreño Busta. Winner of that will take on the number 28 seed, Davidovich Fokina, in the second round. Then you've got number 20 seed, Cerundolo. He'll take on either Mute or a qualifier in the second round. Then you've got Comasagna taking on Martinez. Winner of that will take on the number 13 seed, Feast, in the second round. Interesting little draw. You know, Zverev coming off a title last week. Needed that title as well. Hadn't been playing great since the Australian Open. But there are some really dangerous players here that have proven themselves on the clay courts already this season. But of course, you've got to watch out for Zverev. You've got to watch out for Feast. Has been very dangerous over the last couple of weeks. Only losing to Alcaraz on clay. You've got to watch out for Cerundolo as well. Has beaten Zverev on clay this year. And Fokina has been very, very good on clay this year. And it's going to be really interesting to see who actually plays Zverev if those guys do. Because Zverev's going to have to play and win those really tough matchups if he is going to progress at this tournament that he's won before. All right, next section of the draw, we've got the number 12 seed Shelton gets a bye in the first round. He'll take on either Pirikar or Navone in the second round. Then you've got Baena taking on Thompson. Winner of that will take on Mensik, the number 22 seed. Then you've got number 25 seed Poprin. He'll take on either Mickelson or Bublik in the second round. Then you've got Monfils taking on a qualifier. Winner of that will take on the number 7 seed Rublev, who is also the defending champion. So, interesting draw for Rublev. Not the easiest draw to try and defend this title, and especially because Rublev the last couple of weeks hasn't been as good as some other players, so the pressure's on. Obviously, got to watch over Rublev. You've got to watch over Shelton in here as well, because Shelton just came off a Munich final last week, so very dangerous on the clay now, Shelton, and especially on this quicker clay. Also got to watch over Popperin, very, very good on clay as well. And also look out for Mensik. Didn't play great in Monte Carlo, was a bit of an upset. Didn't play great in Munich, was a bit of an upset there, but on the faster clay, maybe this could suit him. But some of the unseeded players, you've got to watch out for Monfils. We know how dangerous he is, even at 38 years old. He could be very tough for Rublev in the second round. And also Pirikar. Really interested to see how the serve works. He can play on clay, so maybe don't discount him as somebody who can maybe make a bit of a run here on the fast Madrid clay. All right, next section of the draw, we've got the number 3 seed Fritz. He gets a bye in the first round. He'll take on the winner of O'Connell or Carabelli in the second round. Then you got Bonzi taking on Cilic. Winner of that will take on the number 27 seed Hurkacz in the second round. We haven't seen Hubie for a while, so good to see him back. Then you got the number 23 seed Korda. He'll take on either Sina or Wong in the second round. Then you got Safiullin taking on Rinderknech. Winner of that will take on the number 14 seed Casper Ruud in the second round. So this feels like it's a bit of an open draw, this one, because we haven't seen a couple of these guys recently because of injury, and then some of these guys haven't done as well on clay as we'd expect, so it could be a bit of an open draw. Of course, you've got to watch out for Fritz, made the semis here last year. You've got to watch out for Ruud, of course, has been very dangerous on clay over his career. He's probably his favourite surface. Also got to watch out for Hubie Hurkacz. Hasn't played much tennis lately because of injury, so hopefully he can come back strong here. And also Korda, he could do some damage on these courts, like I was saying with someone like a Mensik. You know, these courts being a little quicker, the big servers could get some help. But some of the unseeded players, obviously got to watch out for Cilic. He's been a Grand Slam champion for a reason, and also hasn't done bad at the French Open at times too. So definitely got to watch out for him in this section as well. But it's kind of a bit of an open section, so maybe expect some surprises. All right, next section of the draw, we've got the number 9 seed Medvedev. He gets a bye in the first round. He'll take on either a qualifier or Jera in the second round. Then you've got a qualifier taking on Kovacevic. Winner of that will take on the number 18 seed Auger-Aliassime in the second round. Then you've got Nakashima, the 31 seed. He will take on either Ovna or a qualifier in the second round. Then you've got Marijan taking on Kaboli. Winner of that will take on the number 8 seed and Barcelona champion Holger Rune. So, interesting draw for Rune. It's not easy to start, but maybe it gets a little bit easier for him and maybe an opportunity for him to continue that great form he got from last week. But of course, you got to watch out for Rune. He's in red hot form right now. You got to watch out for Medvedev as well, even though Medvedev hasn't arrived so far this season. You think that Madrid would be the best chance on a clay court for him, considering the speed. Also got to watch out for Auger-Aliassime, made the final here last year. And I would also be watching out for Marozsan, very dangerous player on the clay, and also Caboli, who just won a title a couple of weeks ago on the clay court. So, like I said, Rune's early draw might be a little bit tough, but if he can get through that, he might be able to go on and keep this run going of his at the moment. Of course, this section of the draw will take on the Zverev section, so we could be getting Zverev versus Fritz in a semi-final. If you want to go with the big seeds, or maybe Zverev versus Rune. If you want to go with something a little bit different, maybe you want to go with Zverev versus Medvedev. If you want to keep the big seeds up there, or maybe Zverev Ruud. If you want to go with clay court tennis, maybe you don't think Zverev's going to make it. Maybe you think it's going to be Fritz versus Rublev. Maybe you think it's going to be Fritz versus Fils. If you want to go with something a little different, maybe you don't think it's going to be Fritz. Maybe you think it's going to be Rune versus Rublev, or Rune versus Fils in that semi-final lineup. But there it is. That's the top half of the draw, and it's looking pretty interesting. All right, next section of the draw, bottom half, we've got Draper, the number 5 seed. He gets a bye in the first round. He'll take on the winner of Griekspoor or a qualifier in the second round. That could be awkward if Griekspoor Draper were to meet, because we know Griekspoor can be dangerous. Almost beat Zverev last week in Munich. Then you've got Thiem versus Giron. Winner of that will take on the number 30 seed, Matteo Berrettini, in the second round. Then you've got Khachanov, the 24th seed. He'll take on either Opelka or a qualifier in the second round. Then you've got Fonseca taking on a qualifier. Winner of that will take on the number 11 seed, Tommy Paul, in the second round. So there he is, Fonseca. I think everybody's been wondering, where has he been? We haven't seen him on the clay courts yet. He's here, and he's in a good part of the draw. I mean, there are some killers there. We know the tough clay court is there, but also there is opportunity there to maybe do some damage. Of course, you've got to watch out for Draper, trying to see what he can do after training with Sinner all week this week. Also got to watch out for Tommy Paul. Not his best surface, but maybe in Madrid, like I keep saying, it makes, gives opportunity to some players that aren't the best clay quarters to maybe do some damage. Obviously, got to watch out for Khachanov as well. Had a really good week last week in Barcelona, and Berrettini, very, very dangerous player, made a final here before. But the unseeded players, you've got to watch out for Griekspoor, proven danger player as an unseeded player in the past. Got to watch out for Thiem as well. Still trying to learn, no pun intended, whether or not he can play on clay. But Fonseca, obviously, he is the guy that everybody was trying to avoid in the draw. And this is where he's situated. And there's an opportunity that he could do some damage, especially if some of the big names that I said were threats fall apart. So watch out for Fonseca for sure. All right, bottom part of this quarter of the draw, you've got Tiafoe, the number 16 seed, gets a bye in the first round. He'll take on either Hallis or Dadiri in the second round. Then you've got Goffin taking on Muller. Winner of that will take on the number 21 seed Humbert in the second round. Then you've got number 32 seed Baez. He'll take on either Zumher or Bellucci in the second round. Then you've got Rinaldi taking on a qualifier. Winner of that will take on the number 4 seed Novak Djokovic in the second round. And look, on paper, Djokovic's draw is very nice. I think this is a very nice draw for him. Of course, upsets happen. We've seen him, not play his best tennis against guys that he should beat in the past. But I feel like on paper, Djokovic has got to like this draw. Of course, you've got to watch out for Nole. You've obviously got to watch out for Tiafoe as well, even though clay isn't his best surface. Again, Madrid just throws up players that you don't expect to do well, so maybe it's Tiafoe's time. You got to watch out for Humbert as well, another guy who's not great on clay, but again, maybe this surface could change it. Baez is a clay quarter, so you got to watch out for him as well as a possible matchup for Djokovic in that third round. But yeah, the unseeded players in this, I don't know if there's anyone to really look out for, especially because if they do come up against Djokovic, it's going to be very tough, I think, for any of them to sort of take him out. All right, and the bottom quarter of the draw, we have the number 6 seed Demonor. He'll get a bye in the first round. He'll take on the winner of Sonigo and Kecmanovic in the second round. Then you got Vukic taking on Nishikori. Winner of that will take on the number 29 seed Shapovalov in the second round. Then you got number 17 seed Tsitsipas. He takes a bye in the first round. He'll take on either a qualifier or Struff in the second round. Then you got Echeverry versus Medvedev. Winner of that will take on the number 10 seed Musetti in the second round. So again, this doesn't feel like an open draw. It feels like there's a lot of players, though, that could take advantage of this draw. A lot of dangerous players in this draw who have been proven clay quarters in the past. Of course, you've got to watch out for Demonor. Has been really good on the clay lately. Of course, you've got to watch out for Musetti as well, just coming off the Monte Carlo final. Got to watch out for Tsitsipas. We know how dangerous he is on the clay, even though his rankings suggest lately that he hasn't been good. Still very dangerous. And I'd also watch out for Chapo. He's not a clay quarter. but he can play on this kind of surface. But you got to watch out for the unseeded players like Struff. Made a final here not that long ago. Also got to watch out for Sonigo. Could be dangerous on the clay as well. Echeverry is another one that's unseeded that could be a dangerous player as well. So this kind of feels like it might be one of the more stacked sections with some real dangerous players for everybody. And the bottom part of the draw, we've got the number 15 seed Dimitrov. He gets a bye in the first round. He'll take on either a qualifier or Jarry in the second round. Then you got Bu taking on a qualifier. Winner of that will take on the number 19 seed Mahatch in the second round. Then you got the number 26 seed Lehechka. He'll take on either Landalucci or Norrie in the second round. Then you got Bergs taking on Nishioka. Then you've got Bergs versus Nishioka. Winner of that will take on the number 2 seed Alcaraz in the second round. This is kind of tough for Carlos. Even though he's been in great form, with the injury concerns that he had in Barcelona, at least in the final of Barcelona, this could be difficult. There's some difficult names here, but you got to watch out for Alcaraz. You've got to watch out for Dimitrov. Dimi can play on all surfaces, and he's still going strong. You got to watch out for the 2 Czech players as well, Mahatch and Lehechka. Lehechka made a semi-final here last year and then got injured, so very dangerous here and proven here. But you've also got to watch out for Jarry. He is a clay courter and he hasn't been great lately, but maybe he could do some damage here with that serve. But it's going to be interesting to see who does pop out of this draw, especially if Alcaraz is healthy and does play. Now, this part of the draw will take on the Djokovic section. So in the semifinals, we could be getting an Alcaraz-Djokovic semifinal. We could be getting an Alcaraz versus Draper semifinal if Draper comes good on the clay. Maybe you want to go with an Alcaraz versus Fonseca semifinal. I mean, we can dream big, right? Maybe you don't think it's going to be Alcaraz. Maybe you think it's going to be Djokovic making the semis and taking on Demonor. Maybe Djokovic versus Musetti. Maybe Djokovic taking on Dimitrov or Djokovic taking on a Tsitsipas. Maybe you don't think Djokovic or Alcaraz are making the semis. Maybe you think we're going to get something like a Draper versus Musetti. A little bit of a different matchup that we're used to seeing on the clay courts. But there it is. That is what the Madrid draw looks like. And I don't know. It doesn't feel like... I think the big story is what can Rune do and what can Alcaraz do physically? Is he going to be ready to play? Other than that, I think everybody else sort of has their problems. I think Djokovic's draw is not as bad as some of the others, but let me know in the comments below. Who's going to win Madrid? It's such a big tournament these days, and it's 96 players, so there's a lot to choose from, and upsets have happened. We've seen on the ATP that they're not immune to upsets anymore. The top players lose early at these tournaments these days. But there it is. That's the Madrid Open. It starts on Wednesday. Where's Wawrinka? I don't know. Stan must have withdrawn. I don't know. Stan had a wild card though, right? So I don't know why Stan is not there. He was supposed to play. I think he was supposed to play. No, maybe he didn't get a wild card. Maybe I read that wrong. Zverev and second final, you reckon? Okay. What's been going on? How you doing? Watching on TV? Nice. My boy Landalucci made the draw. Yep, he's in the draw. He got a wild card. Who's winning? I don't know who's winning this tournament. I don't know. I kind of want to pick Djokovic, but every time I seem to pick him, people tell me not to, so I don't know. I mean, smart brain says Alcaraz, but I don't know if he's. It depends on how. If he pulls up to the tournament, I'll probably go Alcaraz, but can Rune keep the streak alive? I don't know. Zverev's draw is kind of tough, so I don't know if I can pick him. I mean, it wouldn't be bad if Rune won, right? I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind a Rune Alcaraz rematch in the final, or a Rune Djokovic match in the final. What about that? That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, I don't know. I think if Alcaraz wasn't hurt, I'd say Alcaraz. But if Alcaraz is not 100% or doesn't play, I might go Djokovic. He's got to win that 100th title eventually. And if I keep picking him, he'll do it eventually. It'll happen. I'm going to be right eventually. Rune doesn't do well back-to-back weeks. Yeah, that's what I'm interested to see how he does after, like if he can maintain, because he was playing so good in Barcelona. It hurts that Alcaraz had a chance to complete the clay season, obviously only halfway through. Yeah, but he could win Rome, and that would complete everything on clay over his career. So you know. Too early for Fonseca personally. Yeah, I would love Fonseca to go on a run, but I don't think he'll win the whole thing. There's a lot of experience in his way, you know. But I would love to see Fonseca make a run and make the fourth round or something. You sound like the Rafa fans last year. Sometimes it's just over. But last year there was reason to doubt Rafa because he wasn't moving the same and he was injured. I don't think Djokovic is not as... he's more injury prone maybe, but Djokovic is coming in here fresh. He's not injured as far as we know. So I feel more confident picking Djokovic than I would be picking Rafa 12 months ago, because Rafa 12 months ago was still limping. He wasn't 100%. So, I feel way more confident picking Djokovic in this current ATP landscape because, he might be vulnerable, but so is most of the others, right? Everyone's having bad matches this year. Everyone's getting upset until Sinner comes back, or Alcaraz is healthy, right? So, I don't think picking Djokovic is crazy. I think it's a crazy pick. Djokovic is fit and hits the ball well. Yeah, Nadal was injured, yeah. Nadal was definitely... it's not even the same comparison. Fonseca Berrettini, that'd be awesome to have as a fourth round. There's a lot of good third rounds. Second rounds, like I said, not too many great second rounds. On the men's side, to be honest, probably no good first rounds except for yes, we'll probably watch Fonseca. Maybe we'll watch Monfils, but yeah, first round of the men's, it's only really just Fonseca for me to worth watching, and then unless you have a favorite, then watch your favorite. But dude hasn't won anything in a year and a half. What are you talking about? Djokovic literally won a gold medal. That's a thing. But yeah. Second round, yeah. Third round is when things start to get really good. Because Fonseca, Paul, second round's good. Fonseca's playing a quali. And unless it's a Fanini or someone like a name, it's, Imagine it was Fonseca versus Bodek. That'd be interesting. But yeah, second round is kind of okay. And then third round we kick off. But luckily for the ladies, everything kicks off tomorrow. So it could get really interesting straight away, So that's good. All right, chat. I got to get ready for this. Women's final in Stuttgart, and then we're gonna have to fly to Madrid. So jump on over here, talk amongst yourselves. I'll send you to that, but let's see what happens. Madrid draws come out. We've got the women's draw starting tomorrow in the first round, and then we've got the men's draw starting on Wednesday. But it's kind of interesting. There's some interesting matchups floating around. And could be really fun to watch, especially, like I said, from the third round onwards for the men. Definitely seems like that's where all the excitement will start to happen. But you never know. Upsets happen too. So we'll see what happens. But if you're not coming back for the final, we'll see you tomorrow for Madrid, which starts for the ladies' first round tomorrow.